Purpose of pruning. Over the past 20 years, Taiwanese people have emphasized the important role of trees in environmental greening and beautification, and the overall improvements to life quality. As trees grow and their surrounding environments change, however, their growth and safety are affected too. In order for urban trees to be able to grow and remain healthy while beautifying the landscape, and in consideration of personal safety and other special goals, tree management units often need to perform pruning operations to varied degrees in one way or another, according to the type of tree in question and where it is located. When street trees or landscape trees suffer breaks, die, become sick, or have overly dense foliage, for example, adequate pruning is required to ensure that they can continue to be healthy. On the other hand, if a tree becomes too large and takes up too much space, or if some of its branches grow too fast, pruning can help adjust the tree structure and help make sure that it stays beautiful. When the crown of a tree expands too much and its leaves or branches cover traffic signals, create blind spots on roads, or create issues with high-voltage power cables, the tree in question shall also be pruned to ensure traffic and public safety. Even if it is an old tree, as long as the crown is too big and risks causing a hazard during a typhoon, it must be adequately pruned to reduce the risk of its falling down or causing an accident. Pruning targets. The category and priority for branches of landscape trees to be pruned vary with the health condition and degree of potential public safety hazard. The first area that must be cut or removed consists of dry dead, broken, and/or pest-laden branches, followed by abnormal branches with unfavorable growth, including reverse branches, entangled branches, whorled branches, branch stems, interlacing branches, sprouts, etc., as well as certain overly dense healthy branches. Method for pruning. Incorrect pruning methods can result in weak branches and decayed branches and/or trunks. It can even result in a tree that poses a hazard. Common incorrect pruning methods include inappropriate pruning of structural branches that serve as the skeleton of a tree will change its form, posture, and landscape value. Overly large wounds facilitate corrosion and decay inside the trunk, turning the tree into a hazard. Poorly cut branches that are inappropriately pruned and detached cause wound closure to become difficult to tend, causing corrosion and decay inside the trunk. When an incision is not flush, it will prolong the time for the wound to heal, or even lead to invasion of corroding and decaying bacteria into the trunk, which undermines the health of the tree. An inappropriate pruning point not only destroys the natural defense mechanisms of a tree, but also makes it difficult for wounds to heal. Direct stumping for reasons such as to minimize consequences of a typhoon, on the other hand, will in fact result in irreversible injury to the tree. To avoid harming the health of trees as a result of incorrect pruning methods and preserve public safety, a few descriptions for correctly pruning trees are provided below. For coniferous trees, the so-called flush-cut method is generally adopted. That is, the saw used to prune the branches should be cut closely against the trunk and be flush to it before cutting vertically from the base of the branch. When there is an obvious bump at the base that is greater than 5 centimeters in diameter, however, it is necessary to prune from the outside of the base and avoid creating a wound with a diameter greater than 5 centimeters. The incision should be kept smooth as possible to facilitate wound closure. For broad-leaved trees, bumpy circular cells of varied sizes by the name of branch collar will form at most bases of branches while the trunk is developing branches, as part of the natural cellular defense mechanism. To avoid undermining this defense mechanism, Do not damage the tree's collars while pruning branches. This will help prevent the wound from being infected with pathogens. Because the growing patterns of branches on the trunk for broad-leaved trees vary relatively significantly, the best pruning point must be determined by the external form. Related steps are as follows. 1. First, find the branch bark ridge, BBR, the wrinkled bark, at the joint of the trunk and its branch. 2. Then find the collar, a mild bump, at the base of the branch. 3. When the collar is obvious, at the ridge of the branch and outer side of the collar, slightly tilt the saw teeth outward before sawing. Remember to avoid the branch collar, not to leave any residual branch stubs, and minimize the incision point. 4. When the branch collar is not obvious, on the other hand, the location of the incision and the angle of the ridge must be identical to the angle formed by the ridge and the branch. 5. When the branch to be pruned has a diameter greater than 3 centimeters, it is necessary to follow 3 particular steps. First, saw an opening underneath the branch at around 20 to 30 centimeters from the base of the tree branch. Then, saw it around 1 centimeter from above the opening. Finally, complete the cut from the base of the branch. An improper removal method is very likely to lead to a weight tear of tree bark in the lower part of the trunk as an overly large branch, making wound closure difficult. 6. A correct pruning method will render a round form of a post-closure wound. Any other form means that the vascular cambium of the trunk and the branch is already damaged. A damaged vascular cambium will lead to incomplete tissue growth upon wound closure and will prolong the time needed for the wound to heal. In addition, weather change, growth competition, or improper pruning, among other factors, can all result in the trees developing dead branches or stubs and calluses. To avoid the formation of calluses as a result of damage upon pruning, one must carefully check the contact point between residual branch stubs and the trunk before pruning. As soon as calluses are formed, remember to have the incision on the outer side of the callus. Contact us. Tree pruning is the key to healthy tree growth and making sure our landscapes stay beautiful and green. To find out more about pruning techniques, please refer to the website of the Taiwan Forestry Research Institute or call us